Hello everybody and welcome to race number 5 of Season 5 NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Auto Club 400 at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California, just outside of Hollywood. So we're in a pretty big environment for a race today here in the California sun. And what a race we do have in store for you here. We're going to be going 38 laps at this 2-mile oval track. This is going to be an interesting race because there can be a lot of point shakeups going on here for this race. Speaking of that, let's take a look at the point standings. Coming into this race, we have a tie for the points lead between last week's winner at Atlanta, rookie Dylan Schwallenberg, and the Rockingham, UK winner, Chase Oliver. They both are tied for the points lead coming into this race. And then the rest of the top 5 is David Rivera, who is 16 points behind the lead, Dorian Facepuncher, who is 18 back, and then 5th place, 23 points back, is Michael Norman. And the rest of the top 10 is Austin Weiner, Chris Washer, Dylan Thoreau, James Qualls, and Rue McIntyre. The rest of the top 20 is Danny Wells, Jesse Setti, Charles Jackson, Alex Hawkins, Joshua Balkin, Kendall Maynard, Jecko Knight, William Duncan, Brandon Nichols from our winner of Daytona, and Seth Cole. So that is how the points look coming into this race, but as you see the starting grid popping up on your screen, let's get this half pace lap going. And let's see how the top 10 on the lineup looks real quick. On the pole is the winner of Atlanta and current rookie points leader, Dylan Schwallenberg, on the pole. Second is rookie Stephen Pollard, the third. Third is Chris Washer. Fourth, Jackie Tang. Fifth, Michael Norman. Sixth is Chase Oliver. Seventh is Matt McIntyre. Eighth, Trent Dunham. Ninth, Rue McIntyre. 10th is Dylan Young. That is how the top 10 starting lineup looks. But here we go. We're getting ready to go racing for 38 laps here at the California sun. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Looked like Stephen Pollard III got off to a better jump than Schwallenberg, but Schwallenberg's going to have the preferred line. But now here comes Michael Norman underneath for the lead already. Now this track, they can go 4 wide and make it work. It's only if they get crowded within each other and potentially 5 wide. That's when it can get pretty hectic. Right now, Schwallenberg holds on to the spot, but Michael Norman is there to try to get the lead. Who will lead lap number 1? Schwallenberg got him by a bumper. That ruined it, but Michael Norman now up to the lead right now. But now here comes Brandon Nichols, our winner from Daytona. He's already coming up here for the lead. And I see Chris Thomas, Cody Lamas, Cole Daly, and a lot of people coming in. Sonny Hammond and Seth Cole. So many of them trying to get into this picture. But right now, the lead's now been handed over to Chris Thomas in the 14. He currently holds on to the top spot. And oh, things could get pretty hectic here. And whoa, and I see Brandon Nichols and Michael Norman go up and got the wall. Norman's still stuck up there. And now he finally gets off the wall, but that just cost him and Brandon Nichols big time as far as spots on the track. And as we're looking around the back of the pack, wow, they were nearly 5 wide right there for a second. And whoa, near contact with Matt McIntyre and Dylan Young. But they somehow avoid disaster. Meanwhile, back up front, Chris Thomas still hangs on to the top spot at the moment, and Brandon Nichols is coming in the pit road. I would have had to have imagined that he'd have to come in to get damage repaired after getting the wall. Michael Norman, on the other hand, stays out on track. I think he looks like he's slowing down to come into pit road himself, maybe. Maybe not. But meanwhile, we're looking around the racetrack to see if anything else is happening. But Chris Thomas still hangs on to the spot, but Seth Cole has second. But here comes Cody Lamas with two of his Hendrick teammates, Cole Daly, Chris Washer, coming into the fray. But Seth Cole, he's coming in quick on the back bumper of Chris Thomas for the position. Let's see, he won't lead this lap, but Michael Norman still hanging out back. Now I'm trying to find Brandon Nichols and I don't see him anywhere. Oh, there he is. He's still in pit road. And Seth Cole has taken the lead over. Seth Cole trying to get his, I believe this would be his 6th career Walmart Cup Series win if he wins this race. To my understanding, that is. Chris Thomas trying to get his 2nd career win. Meanwhile, 3 wide for 3rd. Chris Washer underneath both Joshua Collard and Cole Daly. Sonny Hammond now going to try to potentially make it 4 wide if he got low enough, but he couldn't quite do it. Meanwhile, new battle for the lead still with Chris Thomas, Seth Cole, but Thomas is going to manage to try to take the spot coming across the line, but Seth Cole ain't giving up that easily, but Thomas does lead the lap. And it looks like he will take back the lead officially as he clears Seth Cole, and now here comes Chris Washer underneath for 2nd with Sonny Hammond right behind him to try to maybe give him a bit of a draft boost, it looks like, from the looks of it. Meanwhile, Washer, he's got a full head of steam coming down low right at the moment. But now here comes Sonny Hammond down low. Almost 3 wide for the lead, but Sonny Hammond, he's got a full head of steam himself. He wants to try to get his 2nd career Walmart Cup Series win for himself. But now here comes Joshua Collard underneath for 2nd. Joshua Collard wants to get another win in his arsenal. If I can think, I believe this would be either his 2nd or 3rd career win, because he won a race or 2 back in season 2 when he was in the number 43 back at the time. And whoa, Sonny Hammond, Chris Washer, Seth Cole went way up high. That cost them both dearly. And now here comes Charles Sandfer with Joshua Michaels coming into 2nd. Cars are spread out everywhere in terms of racing, even though they're going 2 to 3 wide for the most part, it would look like. But Chris Thomas at the moment hangs on to the spot for the time being. Back here, battle for 2nd. Seth Cole going underneath of Charles Sandfer for the spot. Not really any problems so far in this race, except for the incident we saw happen earlier with Brandon Nichols and Michael Norman. But apart from that, we've had a clean race going. And here comes Seth Cole once again for the top position. And look who's coming down low in the low line for 3rd. Brandon Gonzalez in the 23. He is all of a sudden come up here. And I see James McLeod is up in the mix too. And I see Alex Hawkins, Anthony McCrory, Kyle Matthews, and a couple others coming in there. Meanwhile, Seth Cole leads this lap. But he's got to get him clear off of turn 2 if he wants to officially take the spot, and I think he will once we come off of 2. And he does. He officially cleared him. But Brandon Gonzalez trying to work underneath Charles Sandford for 3rd, but he's just not really been able to make the move yet, but now here he comes. But he's going to tuck back in line behind him. Right now, these cars are trying to do everything in their power to not wreck, but try to get positions as much as possible. And it's going to be hard to tell who is in what spot based on the way they're racing. And Brandon Nichols, yeah, he's a little bit off the pace after what happened, so these cars could end up having to deal with the 77 here in just a moment as Chris Thomas is going back for the lead. But which line is Brandon Nichols going to hold up? Let's go up to the 77 and see what happens when they approach him. And here they come. It looks like the high line's going to get held up. So Seth Cole, Charles Sandford for the time being, but now Seth is going to get by. Sandford at the moment got held up a little bit. Looks like everybody's doing good to get by, but now Jesse said he's going to get held up. Oh, be careful. Man, Jesse said he's losing a ton of spots due to this. And she's still stuck behind him. And now she finally goes by. And those are teammates as well, so there you go with that. Mitchell Riggs, whoa, looked like he got a little bit wobbly in the middle of the corner there. And he about came down into James Qualls. That could have been bad, and now Ian Dudd is going to get held up. And now Nichols moves up high to let them go by. And oh, pit stops are going to happen. Pit stops are happening. Ian Dutta, wow. Dutta went pedaling through that. Meanwhile, Chris Thomas still holds on to the top spot, but James McLeod currently runs in 2nd, but we've got green flag pit stops happening here. One of potentially 2 that could happen. And now the leaders have come into pit road. Trent Dunham, Matt McIntyre are staying out. I'm trying to check if there's any more that have elected to stay out. No, only Trent and Matt. 2 teammates had a DEI up at the front right now in 1st and 2nd, but they have yet to come to pit road. But now it looks like they're going to be slowing down to come in the pit road now. And there they are. Meanwhile, everybody else down and away, and it's a heated battle between Thomas and McLeod as to who's going to come out first, and Thomas has managed to get out ahead. But Michael Norman and Brandon Nichols go by. I don't think that's for the lead. In fact, those are the 2 who got into that little mishap we saw earlier. As we check the speeds, Chris Washer is now probably going to end up being in 2nd place once it all cycles. But Chris Thomas, I think, is going to get the lead, but we'll see when we get to the stripe here as we get ready for halfway. As we see all this happening, cars are spread out everywhere, but there you see Trent Dunham, Matt McIntyre getting out of pit road, but Chris Thomas, I think, is going to be the leader. Oh, but now they got Brandon Nichols up ahead, so This could cause some problems for some guys back there that could be running multiple wide racing situations. So far, the top three have gotten through. Is anybody going to get held up? Not at the moment. Everybody's been able to get by the 77 really well. The 77 still has a little tiny buckle on his hood after all that happened. But nonetheless, let's see how the field looks after after everything has happened. Chris Thomas is the leader. Second is Chris Washer. Third is Brandon Gonzalez. Fourth is Danny Wells. Fifth, Charles Sandford. Sixth, Seth Cole. Seventh is James McLeod. Eighth, Joshua Collard. Ninth, Joshua Michaels. 10th is Checo Knight. 11th is Sonny Hammond. 12th is PJ Williams. 13th, Anthony McCrory. 14th is Kendall Maynor. 15th, William Duncan. 16th, Cody Lamas. 17th, Charles Jackson. 18th is Jesse Setti. 19th, Kyle Matthews. 20th is actually going to be Matt McIntyre. 21st is going to be Trent Dunham. 22nd, Alex Hawkins. 23rd, Cole Daly. 24th, Dylan Schwallenberg. 25th is Stephen Pollard III. 26th, Dylan Young. 27th, David Rivera. 28th, Dorian Facepuncher. 29th, James Qualls. 30th is Matt McIntyre. 31st, Sean Galligan. 32nd, Rue McIntyre. 33rd, Preston Plord. 34th, Jackie Tang. 35th is Austin Weiner. 36th, Joshua Balkin. 37th, Chase Oliver. 38th, Dylan Thoreau. 39th, Jessica Shelton. And then 40th is Ian Dutta. There he is. And then 41st, Michael Norman on the very tail end of the lead lap. And then 42nd lap down somewhere is Brandon Nichols. Right now, Chris Thomas hangs on to the spot. Is Michael Norman off the pace? Not quite. I mean, he is not going as fast as Chris Thomas, but not terribly off the pace like Brandon Nichols is. But he might still cause some problems for anybody who's right behind him, as Chris Thomas is approaching the 3 car. Meanwhile, we got a new second place driver, Brandon Gonzalez, currently up in the 2nd spot. Chris Washer goes back to 3rd. Seth Cole is now moved up into the 4th spot. But right now, this whole race has been almost a clinic in a way for Chris Thomas. He's pretty much led the most laps this entire race. Nobody really, except for maybe Seth Cole earlier on, was a challenge to him. Now Michael Norman getting bypassed by Brandon Gonzalez. Or it should have been the other way around, but Michael Norman, yeah, like I said, he doesn't appear to be totally off the pace, maybe just a tiny bit, but still, he isn't completely up to speed, maybe 90% up to speed, if anything. But right now, Chris Thomas hangs on to the top spot, but Brandon Gonzalez is gradually, I could say, maybe trying to close in a little bit. If Brandon Gonzalez wins, this will be the 2nd race in a row we've had a rookie go to victory lane. That would be impressive if that would happen. And now Seth Cole going to go by Chris Washer for third once they get into turn one. Let's see the margin between the top two now. Gonzalez gained 0.03 of a second that last time. He is gradually getting there, but I think Seth Cole right now. Let's take a look at the lap time differences among those top three. Last lap, Seth ran a 36.516. Yes, Seth Cole is definitely right now, as far as the top three, the fastest of those cars. As long as he continues that pace, I think Seth might be able to get to the lead. But also, we still gotta wonder if whether or not these cars have to pit one more time or not. Some probably might, some won't, but we'll see when it happens. But Brandon Gonzalez is closing in on Chris Thomas, so is Seth Cole. Chris Washer trying to get there, but he's still dealing with Michael Norman being right in front of him. And oh, they're going to catch Brandon Nichols again pretty soon. As we're looking around for anything else that could happen. Whoa, look at this wide, 3 wide racing back in mid-pack. And now Seth Cole's going to go underneath of Chris Thomas for second. Yes, Seth Cole, like I said, I think he is the fastest car on track out of the top 3. Chris Washer's gradually getting into the mix. Where did Michael Norman go? But anyways, Brandon Nichols, they've caught him, but everybody's doing good to get by him right now. As we see the margin for the lead right now, relatively the same still, but Seth Cole is not giving up that easily. I am looking around to see where did Michael Norman... Oh, there he is. Oh, he went into pit road. That is a potential sign of potential pit stops that could be happening here in a few laps. That is indeed a sign. Seth Cole now definitely underneath of Brandon Gonzalez. But will he be able to get clear of him off of turn one? And whoa, I see a huge cluster of cars back here, thanks to Brandon Nichols. That could turn ugly pretty quickly, and whoa, near contact with Nichols, SANDFER, and Williams. That could have been a big one waiting to happen, as SANDFER has gotten held up by Brandon Nichols for a little bit. As a result of that, SANDFER is going to fall out of top 10, and Danny Wells, oh, Brandon Gonzalez in pit road. Like I said, we knew there would be a potential for another pit stop. Right now, Chris Thomas still hangs on, but Seth Cole is coming quick. Seth Cole, I think if he definitely wants to get by, he may want to try to pit with him, but he's going to actually, I think, stay out with Chris. Or he's going to stay out an extra lap. I don't know about that. He might have cost himself a little bit unless he can get a faster stop. But many cars are staying out, but some are coming down, and Chris Washer's off and away, and he actually outbeat Brandon Gonzalez out of the pits that time. Right now, at the current moment, Seth Cole has the lead, but now he's going to be coming down the pit road to complete his final stop. Trent Dunham, Charles Jackson, Matt McIntyre all stayed out. And there's Chris Washer, who is the furthest ahead currently out of the cars who have pitted, but then again, I could be wrong in that regard. Is it just me or Jekko Knight beat Chris Thomas out of the pits? If that's the case, that could be your new leader. But now here comes Chris Washer in pretty quickly, closing in on Chris Thomas. And I keep hitting the camera button, I apologize. Is Jekko Knight going to be the leader after all this time and we haven't even mentioned him all race long? Let's see the margin or the leaderboard after all that shuffling between those two. Yeah, I think Jekko Knight could potentially be the new leader. Wow. If he could somehow get up there, that's going to be a shocking turn of events for the final pit stops. James McLeod slowed him up a little bit, and that's going to help Chris Thomas to come back and try to get the lead back. But he's got McLeod underneath him, so it's going to be tough for Thomas to try to go low, and now he might be able to try to, but it's 2 laps to go. As cars are still completing pit stops, but Chris Thomas, here he comes for the lead. I think Seth Cole outbeat them both. Seth Cole is going to be the new leader. Seth Cole somehow, someway got a faster pit stop than the cars behind him, and now here he is up in the lead with the white flag coming out here in the next lap after this. And it's 2 laps left for Seth Cole. And after all that shuffling, Charles Jackson gets into 2nd place, and Trent Dunham gets into the top 5 himself and top 10. Right now the race is in the hands of Seth Cole. As long as he doesn't make any big mistakes, I think he's going to get the victory. But is Charles Jackson maybe closing in? If he is, I don't know if he's going to have enough time to get to him. The white flag is out for Seth Cole. And Charles actually gained nearly a half a second that last lap. Jackson's closing fast, but does he have enough time to get by? Here he is coming really, really quickly. Same with Chris Thomas. If Charles Jackson could get to him and get low, I don't know if he's going to get the lead, but he'll be close. He is closing fast. Charles Jackson's coming. Is he going to get the W? Here he comes down low. It's going to be a close drag race, but he's not going to get it. Seth Cole wins in a photo finish. Seth Cole picks up his 6th career Walmart Cup Series victory, and he gets it at California in a close finish. Wow. That was unbelievable. Man, oh man. Charles Jackson, again, lost a big one. He almost picked up his first career win, but unfortunately, he's going to have to keep waiting for it to happen. But let's take a look at the results, as we had a great caution-free race here at California. Seth Cole picks up his 6th career Walmart Cup Series victory, and he gets it here at California. So great job for Seth Cole. A long drought for him, but he ends it with a big victory here. Charles Jackson, man, he gained over a second in 2 laps. So Charles Jackson only missed it by 0.06 of a second. So close for Charles Jackson to get his first career points win in Walmart Cup Series. But hey, he should be happy with that finish. I'll probably put him in the top 10 in points. Chris Thomas, who dominated this race, comes away with a 3rd place finish. But still, great job for him. James McLeod gets his first top 5 finish of the season, to my understanding. Let me double check on that scenario. Yeah, actually I am right. It is his first top 5. So great job for McLeod. And Trent Dunham comes away with a solid 5th place finish. The rest of the top 10, Jekko Knight comes away with a great finish of 6th, and he came out of nowhere after that last round of pit stops. So there you go. Chris Washer gets another great run of 7th, so Chris Washer's starting to find his swagger again from the early seasons in Walmart Cup competition. Jesse Setti, great run of 8th place. Matt McIntyre gets a great finish of 9th, and to my understanding, That's his first top 10 finish of the season, and indeed it is. And Kyle Matthews, who came into this race dead last in points, gets his first top 10 of the season. So great job for the 24 of Matthews. Rest of the top 20, Joshua Collard, James McLeod, or not McLeod, Qualls. As I was looking up there to check something, but Qualls actually was the highest finishing of the rookies, so he's going to get the 10 points for the rookies. Sonny Hammond, P.J. Williams, Preston Plord, Danny Wells, Brandon Gonzalez, Cole Daly, Alex Hawkins, Kendall Maynor, William Duncan, Dorian Facepuncher, Charles Sandfer, Stephen Pollard III, Austin Weiner, Mitchell Riggs, Dylan Young, Cody Lamas, Joshua Michaels, Sean Galligan, Jackie Tang, Dylan Schwanberg, who's going to lose his points lead potentially, David Rivera, Anthony McCrory, Joshua Balkin, Dylan Thoreau, Chase Oliver, Jessica Sheldon, and then the last car to finish on the lead lap was Ian Dutta. The next 3 cars ended up finishing a lap or more down, and they were Michael Norman, Rue McIntyre, and Brandon Nichols. And Brandon Nichols finished 4 laps down after everything. But anyways, that does it for our coverage today here at California. And the next race, we head to the dreaded Thornton. So that's going to be exciting. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this race at California. Here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into California. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.